All right. So my 1970 F-100 has developed a leak in the radiator. Just noticed it. Might have picked up a rock or who knows what, but it's the original radiator. It's over 50 years old, and it's definitely due for replacement. So I'm going to walk you through how simple it is to change this out. It's amazingly easy. You got the drain petcock there at the bottom of the radiator. Open that up, start draining, and you can go ahead and if your rig has a shroud, you can remove the shroud. 4 bolts will hold that on. Pull that back. Going to go ahead and undo your radiator hose, upper and lower. These are pretty easy to remove. Hose clamp comes off. You got to twist that hose a little bit. Pull that back. You're going to get a little bit of antifreeze dripping. Not much on the top, the upper hose, but the lower one, you're definitely going to get some drainage. And just kind of slide that shroud out of the way. And the lower one, same thing. You're going to need to twist it depending on how old your rig is and how old the hose is. They can be a little stubborn, but there you go. That's the final amount. And 4 bolts hold the radiator on and super easy to remove. Get those out. Radiator's loose. And just carefully pull it out of there. Not really concerned about damaging the radiator at this point, but just getting that last bolt out. And make sure the shroud's out of the way. You don't want to bang the fan. Pull it straight up. These older ones, I think they're made out of brass or a little heavier. And yeah, got that out. Now it's time to get the new one. Got a 3-core or a 3-row radiator. Got it from CJ's Pony Parts. Back when I had my Focus RS, I used to get some stuff off of these guys, and they're good. It's an aluminum radiator, painted black, set up for an automatic transmission, which I don't have. You can see the cooler inlet there, but it's a good, yeah, decent radiator. It doesn't look like the original, but it's going to be more efficient. You can see the old versus new. You're going to want to take these clips off if you have the fan shroud off the older one and slip those on the new one. Double check that the shroud's going to fit to the hole locations, which it does. And then you're going to want to take those clips off the old radiator, attach them to the new one. I just touched up with some semi-gloss paint. All right, so put the shroud back in place behind the fan, and you're going to drop the new radiator in. Just be careful that you don't, hit anything with it and damage your brand new radiator. But it's pretty straightforward. It drops in, and it's, yeah, very simple. Just index it with the hole locations. Verify that it's pretty much centered. I start with the upper 2 bolts, and then chased it down. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Tighten up the lower. Double check all 4 bolts. Now you got, yeah, I'm doing the lower one there. Just double check. I kind of touched up some paint, made it look good. Obviously, this isn't some sort of a, class 1 restoration, but it's a very functional, fun truck. Now we're putting the shroud back in place. Again, 4 bolts, and it's just, yeah, you're just going to do that 4 times. Start with the upper, keep them loose, and then tighten them all at the end. Looks like I'm still tightening the lower one. Okay, now the upper hose, remove the little cover, put the hose in place. And you're going to want to tighten the hose clamps up. Pretty simple stuff here. It's so fun working on old cars. It's like a tractor or something. They're just so easy to work on. Do the same thing with the lower hose. And get that on. Tighten that up. And we are pretty much done at this point. Putting on the vent hose. One thing, the new radiator didn't have the little clips on the side of the radiator to keep the hose in place. Not a big deal, but just something to observe. All right, so I'm using a 50-50 premixed antifreeze. If you're going to use a concentrate, I'd recommend you use distilled water, 50-50, just for corrosion and just best practices. Go ahead and top it off, and you're about ready to go here at this point. All right, so we're about done now, and this is the finished result. It's a good-looking radiator, a little more modern than the original. but being black, it blends in nicely. And now time to fire it up. Let it run for a few minutes here, get some temperature into it, and then we're going to just double check for any leaks. And again, this is just a simple project. So fun to work on the old rigs, man. I just wish the new ones were this easy. Inspect for any leaks. I've got the cap off here. I'm going to take it around the block after I do this, but I'm just checking the radiator level and looking for any kind of leaks. At this point, we're looking good. Everything's sealed up. And I ended up taking it around the block for a couple miles and no issues. And she's running cool. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Fun project, super easy. And as always, no need to thumbs up or subscribe. I'm not going to beg for anything, but I always think it's interesting that people watch my content. So thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.